Greetings, everyone, and welcome to the 81st edition of Cinema Effect. I'm Zach, and I'm joined by my fellow Hans Zimmer appreciator, Jaden.
Hello.
And PTA's number one fanboy, a.k.a. JC, a.k.a. Fitzy, a.k.a. Liam.
Hey.
Do you think one day I should string all the AKAs together to form every nickname, and it would just go for like a minute and a half?
Was that not all of them? I guess you got a few more that you've used once or twice. Yeah, sure.
Do you want to confirm if you want me to do it right now? Do you want me to do it right now?
No,
that's okay. You already done your thing, so.
Okay. I already did that. Yeah. You're right. Well, I can move on to the next part now, can't I? Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cinema Effect, the podcast where we review and talk about a different movie every single Monday. And this week, that movie is Uncut Gems. Congratulations, of course, to Jaden for winning the poll on this one. Shout out. And this movie opened in the US on the 13th of December 2019. It's directed by Benny and Josh Safdie. It is a crime thriller, and the synopsis says, with his debts mounting and angry collectors closing in, a fast-talking New York City jeweler risks everything in hope of staying afloat and alive. I want to go to Jaden first, who had not seen the film, and get his take on Uncut Gems.
I was really disappointed. It wasn't the movie I was expecting, but just because it wasn't that fact doesn't, ruin the experience. But like when it opened up with that mine in Africa, I was like, what the fuck's happening? I thought we were getting a super contained, I thought it was going to be like super contained Adam Sandler focused, just fast talking witty thing. But it wasn't. It has scale and it has a massive scale, and like that's just wasn't what I was expecting. It's a movie that really relies on the tension that it builds in its scene to scene things. And I just wasn't there for any of it. I didn't find any of it engaging at all. I don't give a shit about basketball. I don't give a shit about the diamond industry. I don't care about all these characters that they introduce and their personalities and stuff. All these kind of interferences they have with each other, they just came off as more annoying rather than anything else. I think there's very few moments that kind of save it from being awful, but I do think it's maybe not bad. It's just not for me. This is a case similar to The Joker, where it's a well-made movie, but I just cannot vibe with it entirely.
Sure, I get you. Fitzy, what about you?
No, that's great.
Nah.
I said nah. Shut up.
Yeah, Jane, you're wrong. Just as it's obviously very tense and has like amazing build and everything, but just like the score and the vibes are really like kind of weird and different, and there's just like Adam Sandler, like in every movie Adam Sandler plays, he's like this lovable guy no matter what he does, and in this he's kind of like he's that, but he's also he's funny and he's just very entertaining to watch. And I don't know, there's so much I love about the movie, so I don't really know how to boil it down to one thing. But yeah, the direction, the score, it's all very, it's chaotic and intense, but it's also like I'm into, like I root for the characters as well, because I think Harold at least is, he's a lovable kind of, lovable idiot in a way, kind of. And yeah. What about you, Zach?
Wait, who is Harold?
To say Harold, I mean...
Yeah, I know. I had to pick on. Yeah, I know exactly. Yeah, I know it's Howard. I know. It's fine. It's okay. I'm really sorry, actually, because I just ruined your... you did a really good job transitioning to me, But I feel like Jaden and I got the connection there. Something had to be done, I really, really like this movie. It wasn't the same on a rewatch, knowing where it all goes. It's that first time I watched it, and I alluded to this last week, but it was like a roller coaster, It was like an experience. It was just an experience sort of film for me. And seeing it this time, I viewed it differently. I focused more on the technical aspects, which are all very strong. So it was cool to focus on those as well. I I just find it utterly engrossing still, though. Like the performances and the camera work and everything draws my attention in. The Safdie brothers undoubtedly have a style of filmmaking, and their stylings are all over this. So in the best way possible. Because I've been a bit hit or miss on some of their stuff, but this is peak what I think of what I want from them. And yeah, man, it all totally comes together and works for me, So it's a great movie. I was not expecting Jaden to come in like this. So I will now be
No, I wasn't
removing him
either.
from the call, and me and Fitzy will be doing this review. How do I kick him? Oh yeah, I can. Wait, can I kick you?
Can you kick me?
Hang on. I don't know. Let's find out.
I can just voluntarily leave if you want.
Not at all. Not at all. I wanted to start at the start, actually, and
That's bizarre.
Really weird, right? And I don't think we ever do that. We're much more statistically likely to start at the end. I completely forgot about the Ethiopia beginning, actually. And I was interested by your reaction to it, Jane, because I had a similar reaction. I didn't view it in a negative way, but I was sort of like, wow, this is an interesting choice to start your movie, and I don't know really why it's there. To be totally honest, it does introduce that scale that you're talking about, Jan, but we never go back to it. It's not something that I feel connects with the rest of the story. So I just wanted to go more in depth on your thoughts on it, and because you sort of alluded to the fact that it did introduce scale to the story. If you felt it connected elsewhere, I don't know. It's the one aspect of the movie where I feel like it seems a bit disjointed to me, and I don't really understand it.
I don't know how to really explain much further than what I've already. It's just it wasn't where I was expecting it to start, and I think had it not been there, it would have been fine. I guess we wouldn't have got the interstellar colonoscopy transition.
Of course.
But like, I don't know, because it's like you said, it never comes around again. It feels oddly specific in the way that it kind of focuses on this one accident, and I don't know. It's just interesting, It's interesting and odd, but it doesn't completely suit.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I wanted to go into it and see if you have any thoughts too, Fitzy, just because the only thing I can think of is that, the characters in New York talk about it sometimes. They go like, black Jews did all this shit, and they sort of allude to, I can only think about it being sort of the director's attempt to lay the groundwork of everything you're about to see is heightened drama, money, high stakes, first world problems, if you will, right? And we're trying to lay that in this reality of look where this gem came from and the poverty that people live in. I don't know. That's sort of the only comparison I can make, but I don't know if that makes any sense.
No, it feels like the start of the Exorcist or like one of the Indiana Jones movies where they like discover something that's hidden, and it's like really hidden and like beautiful and dangerous kind of thing. And like that's the way that the gem is like introduced, and then in this story that's like what it is,
It's actually it's funny. That's like the exact same reaction I had when I was watching The Exorcist, because when I first put it on and it started with like in the Middle East or wherever it is, I was so confused. I was like, I was like, have I put on the right movie? And this is kind of like the same thing of like, where I was like, did I click on the right movie? I was like,
well, yeah. So I think it's like this. Like, I think the idea is like it's this ancient awakening, and like when you see the gem, it's like this like, magical like score kicks in, and you go into that like transition, which is awesome, by the way. I love what they did with that, like the effects or whatever. But like I love the beginning for that, just 'cause it's so like it's like this birth of the the object of the movie, I guess.
That's interesting, yeah. And we sort of bloody what's his face? Kevin Garnett buys into its magical powers. So I mean, as soon as we start getting all galaxy with it all, I'm like, holy shit, maybe he's onto something, But that transition into the colonoscopy, don't know if I needed that in my life, to be honest with you.
Do you reckon that's a real colonoscopy on Adam Sandler?
That's a great. I think not. I
But it
think
wouldn't
not.
surprise you if it was.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where I'm at with it. That was something. I don't know. I completely forgot the movie did that. And when the movie comes back to, I agree. It's bizarre, but I find it truly bizarre. But I really like how it comes back to that galaxy look inside the gem, and how like at the end of the movie it comes back, and it goes for like a minute, and you're sort of just there sitting with it and the score, and it's sort of this weird hypnotic experience as the film closes, and then it goes, and then the credits hit, and it's like a pop song, and I'm like, what is this? Which is just all very strange, but yeah, man, it's all. I like it a lot too. But when I think about, I don't know, when I talk and think about this movie and feeling more like an experience to me, it's all about the things we've talked about. It's all about the anxiety. It's very chaotic, as Fitzy said very accurately, and being on this ride with Howard. Everyone talks over the top of each other constantly in this movie. There's always so many people talking and swearing, and it's insane. And the way the audio is like layered like that is very stressful. But that's obviously entirely intentional, and I think it's really cool. It's authentic. It feels that way. The performers playing off each other constantly, and the script. It's all just so, they've got all the ingredients, to just stress you the F out watching this movie. And if it felt anything more like, if you take the same plot, if you take the same story, the Gem, Adam Sandler, whatever, but you sort of play it out execution wise like a more traditional film, where there's this more traditional dialogue and you haven't got this heightened tension with everyone yelling at each other all the time, I just don't think it would work. It would be this weird, like, why is there this movie of this dude in New York City who just wants to sell this diamond? It'd be sort of weird, to be honest. But I think the way it all comes together is just really engaging to me, But Jan, did you say you found it? Is this an aspect you found annoying, or was that something else? Because I do understand.
No, it's annoying and unengaging and just uninteresting to me. And it's like the only time I felt anxiety or the tension in the film is in like that last 20 minutes where like he's got that betting on the basketball, and like I guess that goes against like everything the Australians anti-gambling campaigns have said, don't love the odds, love the game. But in this context, the odds were the only thing that I actually enjoyed about it. Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't feel for anything at all in this movie. I don't know what it is. That's just how it was.
So, but what would you say in that sense, though? Could you attempt to chalk it down to the dialogue, like the way with the constant talking and overlapping, and it's just annoying, or you know what I mean? Or is it the characters themselves? I'm just trying to get to this.
The overlapping dialogue is something I definitely find annoying. It's something I've spoken about before, I think, on the show, like where like, I understand it's intentional, but it's just not something I like. It's just I prefer a clean experience, and yeah, they came out to set this gritty, this realistic, this stylized kind of thing. Just didn't gel with me. The characters, I don't, none of them are likable, but that's not really, like, once again, that's not really a genuine complaint because, you don't have to have likable characters, but it does help, But yeah, I just couldn't support any of the characters either, and like, it's just,
You didn't like Howard's dickhead kids?
No, because they're all just twice like him, and he's basketball obsessed. I think that's another thing. Like, had you changed the sport for this film, maybe I would have engaged with it more. I just can't stand basketball.
That's funny.
So yeah, I don't know.
No, fair enough. I understand, and there are moments where, like it sort of does get to me too, but in ways that, at least it's totally that subjective element we're talking about, in ways that sort of enhance the experience for me. Like the whole falling out that Julia and Howard have over the weekend, and like them like constantly yelling at each other about it, and it's, I feel like there's that second act in the movie where they despise each other, like their heightened yelling at each other, like that did start to sort of annoy me, like I like all the back and forth with the business stuff and them like arguing about that, but then like that personal dynamics did start to sort of annoy me.
I quite like that scene where she was just yelling at him as he got in the taxi. I thought that was quite funny. That was like one of the few scenes actually. Funny.
Yeah. I agree with that. But it just, I don't know, because it sort of went on a bit longer than that, and and then they're like sort of calling each other. I'm like, I don't know about this, but all of it annoyed me in the moment. But I do feel like it added to the film in this cerebral way, in all these ways that we're talking about. It did cerebral. Yeah, I like that's called. Is that a good? That's a good word, right? That's got to be a top 5 word. I don't know. It totally adds to it. The characters are all the absolute worst, and they're all endearing, I think, in my opinion. I guess, like Julia, yeah, sure. Howard, these are the fleshed out characters in the movie. I mean, Howard's wife is sort of just, she's just there. I don't know. I don't know how you can really be annoyed by her or either. She's just sort of fine. Fitzy, I feel like there's a transition in here somewhere, bro. But you're ready to take it, I can tell.
Well, I don't really have a transition, but I was going to say, I think the fact that it's Adam Sandler like goes a long way, because he has a lot of like levity to these very tense scenes, and like that's a large part, like what I got from the film this time at least, was like all this tension is happening, and then you look at Adam Sandler, and his face is doing something kind of funny, because he's Adam Sandler. He's a funny guy, And yeah. I think the film is very funny, like at a lot of times. So, just like his reactions, like when he's like telling him to like not lean on the glass, and then he breaks the glass, and he's like, "I told him not to break on the glass. I was like, don't lean on the glass." Like I don't know, it's humorous.
No, it totally is. I agree.
Like if it was someone else, it could be like annoying, but because then it's just the tension, I guess. But he just. It seems like a character from like a different comedy film. It's just like plucked into this, into these tense scenarios. It'd be the same thing, I guess. He'd have the same like reactions. So yeah, I think he's likable at least.
My favorite little bit of the movie was him in his office after he just got punched up by Phil. And he's like breaking down, and like Julia comes in, like that's. I think like that's my favorite part of the movie. Like, what to say about the film that this kind of short 30-second throwaway bit is my favorite part.
I don't know if that's a throwaway bit though. I like that.
I mean, not throwaway, but it's not. I don't think it's meant to be like, in prime contention for what occupies your mind.
I guess I don't know. I sort of view that moment as the switch to the third act, and a bit of a moment of calm and reconciliation between the characters. I feel like that's kind of an important scene,
All right, fair, fine.
I feel like and in saying that, I feel like I'm only trying to enhance your love for it. I'm not trying to like make an argument.
I can see that point. Fine. Pivotal moment. Great job. Cool.
Great job, Safdie brothers. You nailed it. I totally agree about Adam Sandler, and I just think Fitzy nailed all the comedic elements of the character. But in terms of the more dramatic stuff that I'm not really used to seeing from him, he just really delivered for me. He's just Howard is such a character in every sense of the word. Like I feel like I understand this man. He's an abrasive personality. He's very loud. He's an obsessive gambler, like all these traits. And I just feel like Mr. Adam Sandler really brings those to life, and he does it so effectively where he sort of just grounds me in the reality of Howard's greed and me understanding that character, Like Fitzy said, I think this is Adam Sandler's best performance, and I haven't seen the seminal Jack and Jill, but I don't know what that's like. But
I mean, he plays two characters, so I mean, like that kind of has to be better,
Yeah, exactly. That's why Eddie Murphy is the greatest actor of all time too. Yeah, that's a good point. But I don't know. I really like Adam Sandler a lot in the film. And did you guys know that Adam Sandler? I mean, to be fair, it's pretty extreme. But Adam Sandler wore false teeth and a fake dark mole on his right cheek for the role. Those false teeth.
Oh. Okay.
Those false teeth were something else. He had a set of chompers on him in this film, didn't he? Huge teeth. Which one of you guys mentioned the score earlier?
I did.
Because good job.
Yep.
Raise your hand, please, Fitzy. Raise your hand.
No, it's okay.
Oh, okay. How'd you like it? I really liked it.
Oh yeah, it's great. It's like, especially in like the end, like the euphoric moments, it just hits that high. It's like, oh, it's great. Yeah.
Euphoric's a great way to put it. I wrote down hypnotic vibes is what I said, but I like euphoric better. That's good.
Those piano, those like electronic piano sounds are just.
Oh yeah.
They're the best.
Yeah. Isn't there like one moment where there's like vocals and there's like weird chanting and shit? I feel like there's a moment with that. I can't remember where it was.
Is it like near the start? Or I don't know.
I don't know either. Stood out to me either way. Jaden, what about you? Did you at least like listening to the film, you hater?
Yeah, no, I did. I think it elevated like the moments there were, especially because it's like that bit adverse. It's a bit sci-fi, quite a bit sci-fi. With those kind of transcending type vibes. At points. Yeah, no, I did enjoy the score.
Absolutely, it's worth a huge shout out, I think. Jaden mentioned his favorite scene in the movie. In the movie. Is the one in the office. That's a great one. I've got a few contenders, but I want to know, Liam, what's your favourite scene in the movie, if you can choose one? Or one that's...
I think the ending is amazing. I love the ending. I don't know, you see yours, I'll think. Maybe mine will be one of yours. I don't know.
Okay, I think mine's actually the scene where... Not the first time, the second time that KG turns up to the store. Because there's a few... I love all the scenes in Howard's store, like in the showroom area. But that second one where old mate Kevin's there, and it's just complete... The movie's madness, but it is probably the most mad the movie gets, maybe apart from the ending, where like they're all there. Howard's getting phone calls from his doctor, and and Julia's ringing him at that point too, and he's dealing with that. Kevin's there. The other dude, the other, I don't know. Oh God, Damani's there. You nailed it. And the door's jamming, and people are arguing, and there's like 50 things going on that are all being talked about like at once, and it's complete insanity. There are really long shots, like following Howard, like walking back and forth between his office and the showroom. Really cool takes and camera work happening there. I thought all those were really, really good, and just again putting me in Howard's shoes, feeling the debt he's in, the stress he's in these moments. I thought that was a standout scene. I don't know if that gave you an idea. If it's the only other one would be, I really like the auction scene as well.
What you were saying made me think of the scene where, I think it's right after that, or like the same thing where like KG confronts him and they have that Howard, he has that like monologue. This is how I win, this is like my version of what you do. And then he's like, you know what, let's bet on this shit.
Yeah,
and he's like, yeah, that moment was really great.
Dude, 100%.
I mean, there are a few other than that, but I think the scenes at the store are like the most intense because it's so like claustrophobic, and everyone wants his attention, I guess. And like it's a great setting for the ending, which is like the baddie's just trapped in a box, and they're watching him. Yeah. And that's so funny as well because it's just like,
and the way they like sit cross-legged sitting in there,
like kids, and there's like nothing they can do, and Howard's just like looking at them. So like the whole ending is probably my favorite as well, part of the film.
Yeah, and the result of that basketball game, like, I mean, there's no chance in hell I would have ever known it, but I feel sorry for anyone who did know the result of the game if they're like
Yeah.
NBA, you know, because that's real shit, you know. That
'Cause it
would
was real, right? Yeah.
100%, 100%. So that would really take away from it, I think, if you knew. But
I mean, the Safdie
yeah,
brothers would have had to have known because like they would have to write the role specifically for a player, so like they would have to have gone and like found a player that like matches their story.
yeah, that's exactly what they did. Did I take this one? No, I didn't take this trivia, but that's exactly what they did. They wanted, you know, the big basketball fans wanted to integrate basketball, wanted a player, and it sort of was an aligning of the stars moment where KG had, because he plays himself in the movie, had been wanting to get into acting. They went back in the time period they wanted. They found a perfect 3 games in real life that were the exact scores they wanted, like a win, a loss, and a win. And it went that way. And I think all the games were like in Philly, Boston, like in the surrounding New York area as well, which is also exactly what they needed for the story. So I think that was a great lucky coincidence for them. Yeah, KG's pretty good in the movie, right? As himself.
Yeah,
I was pretty
surprisingly.
impressed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he does a lot because he's like such a big man, you know, in like a cramped set. He does a lot to that claustrophobic feeling that Liam was talking about as well. Because like, you know, he is just massive and he's just kind of
he's a huge man. Yeah. No, that's totally true. He's really good. I think he's particularly because I mean, most of the time, like he sort of just has to banter. You know, he's sort of like, especially in those showroom scenes, he's sort of just going, "Yeah, man, whatever." You know, like I'll take the diamond. Like I don't know how much like real or like authentic. I sound pretentious saying that acting he's really having to do until you get to the scene that Fitzy talked about with him facing off with Adam Sandler in his office. That's a great scene. I totally agree. And the moment we're at it, like, dude, Howard literally has the money. The mobsters are literally in the other room. Just give it to them, and this is over. It's over. And he's sitting there like, let's place a bet. Oh no, don't, please. It's the worst.
The way he says it too is just hilarious.
I know.
What? Let's bet on this shit. That's great.
Oh god, like, and that's the thing that makes the ending sort of like it all works because I like the character, but it's just like, dude, like he totally died for nothing. He totally like killed himself in every sense of the word outside of the literal. You know what I mean? Obviously, he was murdered.
But the thing is, he didn't. I mean, like, because like at the end of the day, like Arno was going to forgive him, and he was happy with the result. You know.
Yeah,
because they are family officer. Like he was okay with him getting a bit more money than he should have, and he was okay with that kind of random bit of chaos that they inserted with Phil, and he kind of fucks everything over, you know.
That's totally true. I totally forgot that Arno, because it's not really played up a lot, but Arno totally turns by the end. He's totally like, oh wow, good. He was like ready to walk out of that little cell he was in, like going, oh, good for you, bro. But I do think I do stand by that the amount of times Howard just keeps digging a hole for himself, where it's like, yeah, actually, maybe that initial statement was a bit extreme, that he basically killed himself, because you're right. But he keeps putting himself in these situations nonetheless, right? You know, so it's like.
But he won in the end, though. He died on a high, you know.
That's true. That's 100% true.
I think that kind of just goes like, I don't like how much the like plot progresses just through like misunderstandings or just like coincidences or, you know, things like that. It's like, oh, he keeps the stone for an extra day, that puts him in so much more trouble, and then he does this and that. It feels like a lot of the advances in the plot aren't actually directly driven by character actions, and they are just, you know, coincidences. And I don't really like that. And like, you know, it kind of goes with that bit of anxiety and chaos that we were talking about, I guess. But it's not something I love in the thing.
As someone who procrastinates their essays to the last minute, I disagree. I think like everything in the movie can be traced back to Howard doing something that he shouldn't, like by a due date or something, or like, you know, gambling, or, you know, having another loan or something, or all this stuff is from Howard, you know. And these dates that are given to him, that's what happens. They're like you have to like get something by a certain date, and that's just like an inconvenience. But like you have to give something back, So it's all driven by him, I guess. Nothing's coincidental.
Yeah, I think coincidence is maybe the wrong word. I think inconvenience is probably more appropriate. Well, I don't. That's probably more what I was thinking. Where it's just constantly just a minor thing that kind of this minor derivation from the plan kind of shifts everything. Like KG keeping the stone, Damani betraying him, Julia getting with the weekend. Like it's all things that kind of just. But she doesn't really get with it. She was trying to make a sale, and he doesn't understand that. It's all kind of that stuff that.
No, I was just gonna say like KG is an element that is like kind of out of control because he doesn't out of his control or not his doing because he doesn't want him to have the stone obviously because he has to give it to the auction.
But like even when even earlier in the movie, like Howard was fine. He made a bet and he made bank off that bet, but then it turns out that they cancelled it and they fucked him over. So I mean, like, that's another thing. I was like, it's kind of just sprung on the audience that oh no, he's actually not in the clear, and then we're going to stay stuck in this one part. It's like oh okay, we're going to advance the story now from this kind of plot line, and we're going to get to another major point. But it doesn't. It says no, actually, we're going to keep you right here.
I think those are. I understand. I think those are valid criticisms from a traditional film structure perspective. I'm just so engrossed in the sort of the humanity of it all, where like everything. I agree with what you're saying, but everything feels. This feels like a very real event that could just unfold. Like I understand where everything falls into place.
And that's the other thing. Like I do understand like your point of view as well, and I agree. This is a well-crafted movie. I understand the human element, but it's just an element that I don't like in the way it's presented. I don't like 100%. how it is.
Yeah, no, I totally get you. Because I get that when Arno cancels the bet. I really like that. Actually, that's another thing. I really like that scene when he drags him into the car. That's a shot really. Talk about claustrophobic. I feel like you can sort of only see half of Arno's face from Howard's perspective. It's really good. But when you learn that he cancelled that big bet that Howard scored on, it's one of those things where like I totally understand why Arno did that because it's like presumably he's had these two goons trailing Howard for the last few days. He's presumably already pushed himself to a breaking point that we don't even see. So it's sort of like, I understand why he would cancel that bet, even though it totally backfired on him. It backfired on everyone, but I probably should have asked more appropriately earlier, but how shocking did you find that final moment where he gets shot in the head, Jaden?
Oh, I was completely, I was like, I just did not expect it at all. I like in the slightest, and like, because I was waiting for that moment of release at the end of the movie, and like we get it, but we just get it for the wrong character. And Andy went on to write a big rant about it, but like I don't have that same feeling reflected. But like, it does feel you do feel a bit cheated, but that's the point, Like the audience is meant to feel cheated in the result. But no, I think that the ending definitely saves the movie from being awful in my opinion, but it still doesn't save it enough. Not that I ever see it as awful. It's just as it makes it vibe with me that tiny bit more to make it, it's
totally awful in the
experience type way, like engagement. I don't know, type of thing.
Yeah. No, I get you. I totally understand. So was it? I mean, that moment when he gets shot in the head, that completely blew me away the first time, and it actually made me start thinking that like moments where in film when characters. Or moments in any visual storytelling, when characters get shot in the head out of the blue, how, when done right, how that is such an impactful moment in any story. I can think of probably 4 off the top of my head, other things where that happens, and it's always like, holy shit. And this is one of those moments, But so I just love that the film did that. But so it was Phil, right, who shot him? Was that his name? Yeah, the guy? Was this a takeover? Like, obviously, I understand he's pissed off with Howard, but like the end when he like robs the store and stuff, and he also kills Arno. Is this just like a hostile takeover of the mob at this point for him? Like, what's he?
I
doing?
just think it's look, the way I saw it was just him being pissed off and just not thinking, because like he doesn't seem like the man with the plan, you know. He just seems like in that
That's
moment
true.
he was just really frustrated and just needed to do something to reward himself, you know.
Yeah, that's fair. I see that for sure. I don't know, because then where's he going to turn up? Is he just going to get arrested immediately? He just killed 2 people.
I reckon he would.
CCTV.
But I reckon
Yeah.
he probably will, yeah.
And then what? Julia just gets all the money. Good for her.
Yeah.
I thought at the end that because I forgot that what happened to Julia. So that moment when the slob they're taking out with Julia at the end, or that she goes to his apartment. There's that moment right at the end where he's the one collecting all the cash.
Yeah.
I thought that was a great little subversive moment. I thought for sure, he's killed Julia and he's taking the money. God damn it! And then he takes it right to her. I'm like, okay. Because you don't see her after until he opens the car door, and I'm like, oh, cool. No, that's all right. that would have been like another level of holy shit. That would have been dark.
I mean,
yeah. He's one of the little things like that adds to the film in terms of the character. Like there are also those guys that are like those 2 twins or whatever that when they turn up the door and then Howard's like, oh, these fucking guys.
Yeah.
There's like weird characters like that, like weird like New York kind of characters. But like those people, they're actual. Like they get people's autographs in real life. Like they're known for like pestering like celebrities all the time. The Safdie brothers thought they'd be like perfect for this role as like just annoying people like on the side. I think they're brothers or something, like they're really good friends. But yeah, you have those and like just weird details, like the weekend being in there as well. It's like
yeah.
I didn't even think like anyone knew who The Weeknd was in 2012. I thought he was a very much like later type thing.
Well, they said in the film when they're like, Julie Fox was like, he's going to be famous even though he's Canadian. That's what.
Oh.
So he's on the rise, I guess.
He's like playing in New York clubs. That's sort of the he isn't much yet. But that was pretty funny. Yeah, and then I mean the only other sort of compelling. I was actually about to like my brain went component and element, and then just spat them both out. The only other element we haven't really discussed is sort of the family dynamic. I mean, his kids suck. We mentioned that, they're the worst. Dude, when his daughter's on the phone, she's just like, whatever, Dad. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, I hate teenagers. But anyway.
Isn't that supposed to be the point that it's just like, he's like neglecting her or whatever? Like, isn't that?
Yeah, no, probably, yeah. I'm probably meant to feel more for him in that moment, but I'm just like...
she's just an ungrateful bitch.
Yeah, she was very annoying. Oh, sorry, I meant to feel more for her in that moment, but I'm on his side. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Were any of the kids his real kids this time, or did they actually get, like, proper actors?
Wait, this time? What? Is that...
Yeah, because in the past, like, he's had his own kids as, like, his kids. I think in the Grandma's movie, like, some of the kids were... Or maybe some... I don't know, I'm pretty sure he has... Like,
that's funny,
or something like that. It's like the actors.
I didn't see that anyway. I assume these are just actors. Yeah, man. What do you think of that kid's bedroom? You saw he had that. He had one of those beds with like the car.
Oh, that kid. I thought you were talking about the.
Oh, they both had
basketball kid.
Yeah,
like the those things that you have, like the these things, the bobbleheads or whatever. Or like
yeah. He had all those. I don't know if they were bobbleheads or I don't know, some sort of
sports memorabilia.
Yeah, whatever it was. His bedroom looked like pop culture. Is the point? Yeah, man, these bedrooms. That was a standout. Wait, was it? Probably not. But the other kid who had the bedroom with the race car bed that lit up, like. Is that the worst bed like I've ever seen? Is that If I saw someone have that, I'd think, dude, you're kind of a loser, you know.
It's a kid. I mean,
But that's
it's
like
funny.
I feel like that's the ultimate like rich person move, to just buy their kid this raised car bed that lights up. You know, like what is that?
Oh, okay.
Just buy them a bed for God's sake, you know.
It's just like your like the first part in your socialist, manifesto. Don't buy red cars that are beds for your kids.
You know, up
No,
until I saw this.
Zach is saying to buy an actual car and then cut it in half and put a mattress in there and then put it in your kid's bedroom.
Exactly. But you know, his wife is. That's the. I like that actress. I don't know her name, but
Isn't she the voice of like Elsa or some shit?
She's Elsa, right? She is, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, she was good in the movie. That scene where they go to Adam Sandler's apartment and his kid finds out about Julia, that was a cool scene. But the whole why are you knocking on a neighbour's door wanting to go to their bathroom? That's the worst, dude. Don't do that.
Well, yeah, he's afraid that she might be there, but
Oh no, I understand it, but that's like beyond. That's beyond.
Is that just like the worst for you?
The
Never do that.
worst? Yeah, you can't
Worse than
go
the
and
race car bed.
yeah, probably. And the thing is, like, you know, I appreciate the man asked if he was doing ones or twos. The fact that you lied is terrible. This is the word. Don't let someone in your house to go to the toilet, you know? Anyway, what else have I got for trivia? The film was inspired by the Safdie brothers' father's time working as a salesman for a man also named Howard in the Manhattan Diamond District. The Safdie brothers and their father are also Jewish and avid basketball fans. So there you go, Jaden. That's why they stick all the basketball in there just for you. And Daniel Day-Lewis praises Adam Sandler's performance in this film. That's all it said. That's all IMDb said. Just that. So, that's when you know. Certified. Objectively good performance, you know.
This, like, it's completely different, but like this movie kind of feels like an American Snatch in a very minor way, in that you got like all the elements of like the gambling, the diamond changing hands, all these different parties, these overlapping stories. Not so much the stories, but like, you've got like,
yeah,
it feels a bit like that to me.
I get that. Yeah. I think the overlapping stories is the main difference, but yeah.
Yeah.
What's
the diamond dealing
the
Jews.
difference between like the inconveniences in Snatch and like in this?
I mean, I don't see them as inconveniences in Snatch though. I think they're plot points. I don't know. I just guess it's different. I don't know. It's just different ways I receive them. What are the inconveniences in Snatch? I can't really recall off the top of my head.
Well, I just mean like all these different elements you don't know about, and they kind of like, the diamonds here, the diamonds there, and you don't really like. It's probably worse in this film. Like you don't, it's not a clean. You said you don't like messy films, or like you like clean films, but like,
no, but like but like what I may have said that, but what I meant more was that like I just don't like the way it's presented in this, and I think that's kind of because like I keep on saying I don't think it's a bad film. I just don't. It just didn't vibe with me. It's a well-made film that I didn't vibe with, and it being messy and it being overlapped, the way that kind of everything about it just worsens the experience. Had it been a film I can enjoy and it had these elements, then I can forgive it and I can enjoy it and I can get with it. But because I don't enjoy it, I don't engage with it. Yeah, I don't like it. Right.
So you don't mind the inconveniences like in and of themselves. It's just the way they're presented and the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it's another film that we've done that ends on an absolute banger. Le Mot de Jazz, or however you say it. Get in
the
there.
Pop song.
Yeah.
The 90s, pop song.
90s dance tracks.
All right. Let's get to our final verdicts for Uncut Gems. Uncut Gems. Jaden.
Yeah, big 4 from me.
Whoa.
Yeah, I don't know. Everything I've just said throughout the thing, it just wasn't an enjoyable experience. You described it as an experience, and it certainly is, but not one I liked. So, yeah.
Oh, don't worry. I know all about that. I was here for the I'm thinking of endings review. You know, I was in the boat. What about you, Fitzy?
8 out of 10. Pretty solid. Almost a 9, but yeah.
I gave it a 9 the first time. I'll give it an 8 this time. I think it's a great movie.
Is that just because of rewatchability factor, or is that because
Yeah, I think so. If I'm just rating my experience with it this time, it was a different viewing experience, like I mentioned at the top, having known the ending. And I think it was slightly less impactful as a result, but still, everything we talked about, I think it's a great movie, regardless of that, you know. All right, let's get into news chat. There's a lot of trailers. But did you wait? I don't know, Fitzy. Did you like sneak in a viewing of the Flash trailer before we started or not? Because I feel like I said it and then you went to look something up.
No. Are you talking about like CW or?
No,
like
the
the
Ezra
DC
Miller film.
one, like the WB one.
I looked it up and I didn't find one.
Oh, it's
No,
there.
I didn't.
Okay, no worries. I mean, you know, Michael Keaton. That's sort of it. You know,
Michael Keaton's in it.
he's Batman. I'm Batman. You know,
He's Batman.
we've talked about this in news chat, but the trailer goes all in on it. Yeah. And you know, I'm really interested to see that the trailer builds that hype, and that's cool. It made me certainly way more interested in a Flash movie, and I don't know a lot about the Flash, but it's obviously doing Dimension stuff. I think it's sort of based on Flashpoint and all that sort of shit I don't know about, but that interests me. It's hard not to be interested by Michael Keaton coming back as Batman, even though I don't love his Batman. And then the fact,
in Flashpoint, isn't it? The dad that is that right? It's not Bruce Wayne Batman. It's Thomas Wayne, right? Is that the thing? Because like the story is that like Bruce dies in the alley instead, and then the mum becomes a Joker, and the dad becomes Batman.
Oh, I've got no idea.
Is that Flashpoint?
I think that's.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't know if they're doing that then. They might. I don't know. But Michael Keaton is playing his. They go to 89 universe Batman, you know. And obviously Ben Affleck's in the movie too, which is really interesting. So I don't know how. It's going to be. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be really interesting. I think those elements alone make it more interesting than just a Flash movie to me, anyway. You know. And then while I continue my solo tangent for just a little longer, we had the Peacemaker trailer, which is that the Suicide Squad spin-off show written and directed by James Gunn on HBO Max. And this is a 3-minute trailer. It's a long trailer. Plenty of John Cena to Fitzy's delight, I'm sure. You get John Cena in his underwear, you know, so that's sick. And this trailer to me was like, it's very the Suicide Squad, you know, it's very James Gunn. So if you're into that, you're probably going to enjoy this show, I would think. But for me, the trailer was, and it might just be one of those trailer things where, you know, they try and include the humor. There's a lot of humor in the trailer, and they try and include the humor they think is going to be the most broad reaching. But to me, the humor in the trailer was like, oh, this is the humor that I didn't like from the Suicide Squad. And it's a lot of that to me, you know, because there was plenty of humor I liked in that movie. Didn't see a lot of it in this trailer, but I assume it's there in the actual show, but that remains to be seen, you know, but that's coming in January. So very soon. All right. The Batman trailer. Jaden, tell me about your thoughts on this one.
It's honestly mostly out of my mind already. Like the only part that's still like vivid is like the first 5 seconds because I keep on getting it as an ad on like YouTube before I skip it.
Yeah. But how good are those first 5 seconds?
They are very quality. I think they use a Nirvana track again, don't they? Don't they use
Yeah,
it's the same one.
Oh, the same one. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's always nice to hear them. From what I recall, it's pretty much similar to the first trailer, just different kind of things, you know, in terms of vibe, in terms of what we understand. You know, I don't think we can't really piece too much of the story together. We see Zoe Kravitz for the first time, right?
She was in the other trailer briefly, but we see her face properly.
Okay.
Yeah.
She was we see a bit more of a penguin, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we do. No, I'm still down for it. I still love Matt Reeves. You love Matt Reeves now that we've done the Planet of the Apes films.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm ready. My body is ready. That's a great point, though. This trailer didn't, in terms of what we understand the movie to be and the characters in play and what's going on, this trailer showed us more visually without telling us any more of that. We're still very much, I feel like, in the same spot we were. I totally agree.
Mm.
What about you, Fitzy?
Yeah, it's great. It doesn't look like a DC. Like, it looks a lot better than these other DC EU films. Like, it's very, like, I can't think of it in those terms, so that's a compliment, I guess.
Am I nuts, or is the cinematographer the same as the one for 7? Because if it is, I'm pretty sure like you can really feel the similarities between like the way like they shoot the city in 7 and the way they shoot the city in this.
I'm not sure, but yeah.
It is not. Okay, I was wrong.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. But it feels like it.
Yeah, the film looks stunning, and it's going to be a treat. It's going to be a visual treat. I just love the way they're shooting Gotham, dude. I love the way the Stark. I'm just seeing oranges everywhere. Oranges, like the fire, the tint of all the lights everywhere. The shots we get, the more expansive shots of the city and the buildings, dude. Just orange and black and red, and it's holy shit.
Like Gothic, which is great because like I think Batman Begins has the best Gotham, because in the other ones it's just like Dark Knight feels like New York or whatever. It's just kind of generic, but like this kind of has that style as well, where it's very it feels like a very unique like city that could be in a comic book,
Absolutely.
So yeah, and like there was like a shot of like the Watchtower that was just like epic, That's great.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I still can't get over that Colin Farrell is the Penguin, and
it's I know. Like looking at his face, it's like
it's absurd. It's absurd, but I love the opening scene of the trailer. That friggin', I don't know what they're doing with like the cafe and the SWAT team coming in and Paul Dano sitting there, and you just know I want to see his goddamn face.
Oh yeah, and there was like. There was like a second they showed like a TV and said like live stream. It's kind of more real life, because that stuff does happen, like live stream killings or whatever. So it's like that's like a weird element that's like that's kind of closer to reality, I guess. Not that the film looks very out there, like it doesn't look like it's based in reality, but it was weird seeing that they're including that. So like Paul Dano is like, it's gonna be interesting. It's like this edgy, Riddler guy. It's gonna be cool.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be really cool and grand. And I'm really glad, as someone who's only ever seen the Riddler in the form of Jim Carrey, like it's gonna be really cool to see.
Oh yeah,
it feels very real to what you're saying. It's a serial killer / terrorist who just it happens to be named the Riddler, which I feel like is not implausible.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like a personality.
Yeah,
and there could be like a cult of personality in the film.
Yeah,
or something like that.
Absolutely.
Like, what are those? Are those the Penguins goons? There's like those
the dudes with the face paint.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not. Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know.
I don't know.
They don't scream to be related to the Riddler to me, nor the Penguin, but I don't know.
It feels like the Riddler is going to be the main villain, though. Like the plot's going to revolve around him, and then the Penguin's going to be this like cool side character that we get to see a bit of. Because it looks like the Riddler's going to like set up things around the city or whatever, or some shit that Batman's going to deal with. And I love the voice of Batman in the trailer. I didn't know what he said when he
bangs on the window. Yeah, can you tell me what he said, because I still don't know.
I had to look at the captions, I didn't even realize it was on. Like, I just watched it again, and he said what have you done? But I didn't know what it said. He said it first because his voice was so like gruff, and yeah.
I watched the trailer 3 times and no idea what he said. So thank you. Yeah, no, I think that's all spot on. I think I see Penguin playing a similar role in the film, not literally, but in terms of like screen time, to maybe someone like Falcone in Begins, you know?
Oh yeah,
Where
or
I agree with you.
Scarecrow. Yeah.
Yeah, true. Where I see Riddler playing the Ra's al Ghul position, you know, being the main antagonist. I agree with that totally. But yeah, man, oh my god, yeah, Zoe Kravitz was great, and but just huge. I can't move on without giving the biggest shout out to the closing shot of the trailer being the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life, dude. That friggin' upside down walking towards the car, the fire in the background, and the logo comes in. Are you shitting me with that, dude? Come on. As it starts like forming around it. Oh, that's the sickest thing. Holy shit. Let's get to another trailer. Let's get to Uncharted.
Oh.
Fitzy,
Okay.
Uncharted fan number one over here. I want you to tell me what you thought.
I liked everything in it that didn't have the characters, you know, like the like the ship, when it showed like the ship and like different sets and stuff. I thought that was cool and it could be a bit of fun, but I think it's obvious in the trailer that Tom Holland is trying, but he feels too Peter Parker-y still. He just feels too awkward teenager. He doesn't feel enough like Nathan, I think. But and like Mark is just not anywhere close to feeling like Sully at all. But I mean, it could be like fun, just in like an adventure, high budget adventure sense. But like the characters are just they're not Uncharted. You know, it's not Uncharted. So let's just get that out of the way. But yeah, it wasn't as terrible as I thought it'd be. So
that's good. That's really good. The whole Tom Holland being Drake is still, it's going to take getting used to for me, and it's going to take for me to enjoy it. It's going to take separation, you know, because I think you're totally right. Like, it's so bizarre. I know Nathan Drake quite well. I think, you know, like a lot of people do, and
No, you have a
Drake,
parasocial relationship with him.
and Nathan Drake does not look like a 17-year-old. You know what I mean? And I'm seeing Tom Holland look 17 doing all this crazy shit that Nathan Drake, the 35-year-old man, does. And it's very weird.
Well, there's in Uncharted 3, you get young Nathan, and
yeah.
You know, I think you can have.
But this isn't young Nate. This isn't. You know, that's the thing.
Yeah, but that doesn't. I mean, that doesn't.
I mean, they're obviously not aiming for 35-year-old Nathan because Tom Holland's only like what?
I know, but that's what's throwing me off. For me. That's the thing that's throwing me off. You know.
But I think as a young Nathan, he doesn't really fit either. Like definitely as a grown adult like a 30-year-old or whatever. Like he doesn't feel like that. But
so it goes beyond that for you. It's sort of just also his performance and. Like, is it his, like, because I think the easiest thing to analyze in this area is his line delivery, which is, we all know Nolan North so well. So it's like, that's not hitting.
Well, actually, like, I thought, like, he was trying, as I said, like, because he was trying to emulate it a bit. But, yeah, like, in Devil All the Time, he definitely plays someone that is not, he doesn't feel like, you know, an awkward, like a Peter Parker kind of thing. Like he's like his own person. He's like he's different in that. So he showed, like, he can have range, I guess, from what I've seen from like just that. But because I mean, in Chaos Walking is kind of the same thing as he usually does. But like,
yeah, I see.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he has the extra range. You know, when like in Balloon Tail Defense, when you like. You gotta upgrade it 2 times, you know. He doesn't have the second option.
Yeah. That's a great analogy. Jane, as I don't believe a big Uncharted fan, how do you feel about this? I feel like this is an important perspective.
Yeah, I've got limited. You know, like I've watched like half of Uncharted 4 and like I've played through most of the PSP game, whichever one that was. Golden Abyss, is that right? Is that a thing?
That's a Vita game. Did you have a Vita?
Vita? I didn't have it. I played it with a friend, yeah. But yeah, that one. Yeah,
cool.
that one I played.
For sure.
To me, there's no problem. You guys know the characters differently. Mark Wahlberg, he looks like Mark Wahlberg. I like Mark Wahlberg, so I'm here for him. You know, look, Tom Holland as Nathan, he looks the part, at least when they chuck on the shitty little threaded shirt and the little gun holster or whatever. I'm like, that looks like Nathan enough. Yeah, I don't know. This looks like, but as an outsider, I guess like it just looks like another fun game movie. It looks similar to what the Tomb Raider with Alicia Vikander was. I think this is going to be pretty on par with that in terms of quality as well. I'd expect. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited for this movie, but I'm looking forward to seeing it for sure. But this trailer didn't really assure me of its quality. Like nothing I saw was like, oh, dude, this looks amazing, or not. But nothing was bad either. So I'm just sort of like, okay, like I'm very much still open minded. The main takeaway for me from the trailer was what they're doing to the story, which is bewildering. They are taking everything we understand from the games and their history and just throwing it into a pot where we have the cargo plane scene from ending the trailer, of course, from Uncharted 3. We have Chloe in the trailer, of course, introduced in Uncharted 2. We have them talking about Sam.
Yeah, the brother,
introduced in Uncharted 4. This makes no sense timeline-wise, and this is clearly not in any game.
Plus he's younger, right? Which that doesn't make sense as well.
You'd think so, right? Yeah. So this is clearly not in any game canon. Like when we were talking about this earlier, being like, oh, it's a prequel movie with a young Nathan Drake. This isn't that. This is not. This is an adaptation, absolutely, of all these different elements. We have the cargo plane scene. We have the pirate ship you already mentioned from 4. These are all these different elements from across the board being thrown in here.
What does that mean if they want to do sequels then? Do they just like throw in the elements they haven't already thrown in? And like...
I think we skipped the train scene from 2. This one can go in that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good point.
Yeah.
This isn't going to get a sequel. Let's be honest.
I don't think it will either. I think that's the thing. I think they'd like it too.
Maybe.
I think they'd like it too. But I think they're sort of... Remember, this is the film that we kept talking about how it keeps changing directors. I think
that's always a bad sign. I think Chaos Walking was originally Charlie Kaufman, and then it went to Doug Liman.
Well, I saw a thing. I think Brian Altano from IGN, he tweeted this week about like this Uncharted movie's been in production hell since before the release of Uncharted 2.
That's true.
So like, I mean, like
what? Oh, before
that, like what does that tell you about how this is like? I mean, obviously, like that's a very long time. So they have very, I mean, like, but in terms of how many times it's changed hands, actors, writers, directors, whatever, it's this is like, God, this is crazy.
It is crazy, and if you remember, Mark Wahlberg was Drake originally, and that's why he's in the movie. But he's obviously, they felt he was too old to be Drake anymore, So, which maybe, I don't know if I'd prefer that or not. I don't know. Maybe not. Yeah, that's a weird thought. But this is, I think they're just in the position in terms of throwing everything at it in this movie. I think I like that direction, It's been in the making for so long, like we say, that I don't know if I'd want at this point to get a Uncharted 1 adaptation or a prequel movie that's a simple story and then let's build a franchise from this. We're probably not going to get a sequel. Or we might, but I'm not expecting it personally. And if we're getting one Uncharted movie, why not? Just friggin' do everything, okay? So that's where I'm at with it. Like, I'm fine with them just completely throwing out any sense of history we have with the story we know. But do you want to say something? I know it.
Well, I was saying, you're memeing on like them not putting the train thing in, but I kind of would have liked if they did more Uncharted 2 stuff, I guess, or like the villain. I don't really. Is that villain in one of the Uncharted's or?
I don't believe so, unless they're going to name Antonio Banderas like one of the villains, but he looks nothing like any of the villains.
Yeah. The villains from the second and fourth one are like the best, like that military guy, or like the partner guy in the fourth one.
Oh, Rafe. Yeah, he's terrific.
Yeah, Rafe. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like they weren't featured, right?
Wait, what'd you say?
Voldemort, Rafe.
Oh, yeah. No, not that Rafe. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I like Antonio Banderas, so, like, I'm sure he'll be good. He feels like he would fit. He fits in this world to me. So, we'll see. All right, now it's time for our highlights of the week. Fitzy, what have you been watching?
Nothing. I haven't got anything.
Jaden, what about you?
Which Marty Scorsese's Silence.
Wow, was that yawn symbolic?
No, I loved it. It's my favorite Scorsese film. I think it's truly phenomenal. I think it's something I've put off for quite a while, just because I don't know. I just thought it'd bore me, and like I guess some parts did, but that's just because it's the subject matter. But like, it is truly unbelievable. I don't know. I think like because it's so different to what I've seen in the past. You know, there's no gangsters. There's no. It's just. And I also thought it was going to be a bit of religious propaganda because, you know, it's Scorsese. I thought this would just be, you know, Catholicism just, you know, like kind of shoved up to the nth degree. But like the movie's so unbelievably objective for like a film. Like, you know, that it just feels like it takes such a balanced point of between like this kind of Buddhist religion and like the way like the you know, it's I don't know. It just made me sit there in silence for quite a while afterwards, just contemplating. I'm like, oh, that's quite an interesting thing. And I saw a thing saying like, you know, your relationship with religion is going to impact the way you view this film. And I think that certainly does take hold. You know, I'm not a religious person, but I do find religion really fascinating. I really enjoy it. I really like the characters and the things and the stories. So as someone that just kind of likes looking at religion, I thought this was really great. In terms of the actual film, I think Andrew Garfield is phenomenal. Like truly unbelievably, like just blows everyone else away. It's really fantastic. Liam Neeson and Adam Driver, they're also great. The Japanese cast is fantastic. The choice to not translate the Japanese dialogue is an important one. Sometimes a bit frustrating because sometimes you do want that little bit more information, but like, you know, it's either all or nothing, and it's definitely better with nothing. It's so gorgeous. It's really brilliant to look at. Like this is Scorsese at his best, in my opinion. Just yeah.
I think when you said, "Oh, Scorsese," I've never seen him like this because there's no gangsters. I feel like that just sums it up.
Yeah.
But no, I totally agree. I think it's. I mean, yeah, I've never seen a Scorsese movie like it at all. It feels like a strong departure for him, and I feel like, you know, I don't want to say this. We're talking about Martin Scorsese here. You know what I mean? Like, arguably the greatest filmmaker to ever live. But like, but I feel like the film is, at least from my experience of viewing his films, is him spreading his wings. You know. That's what it felt like to me.
And if I'm not, I think did he have a writing credit? Did I see that? I think.
Oh, I don't know. That's a good.
Let me quickly check because that kind of surprised me because he doesn't typically have a writing credit on his films, right?
No.
Yeah.
No. I know it's based on a book. I know that.
Yeah. Yeah, Scorsese's got a writing credit on this, which kind of surprised me. So like, I kind of can't imagine what his influence would be, but whatever it was, it must have worked because like everything in this film is brilliant, you know. And we talk about his final shots and what a final shot this one has.
Yeah, 100%. That should be thrown in that pile too.
Yeah,
I forgot about that one.
God, yeah, I just don't know what else to say other than like I think it's like a seminal film experience from him. I think we've talked about it a few times before on the show, but like typography, like the font they use, like even like the title is so subtle in its just presentation of just like the white sans serif font and on the black background, it just perfectly encapsulates what you're about to experience. And I think it really is just a wholly complete film.
Jaden, you took away the option. you sacrificed this for Congo. How dare you?
Oh, did I?
No, it's fine. But
wait, did you nominate this for a poll?
Yeah, Silence versus Congo. Remember?
Oh, well, I'm glad. Honestly, I'm glad it wasn't for the show because had it been for the show, I would have viewed it differently.
Oh, okay, that's good.
I think this is a movie best left just to watch.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, okay. I mean, I finished Chernobyl this week. Chernobyl. This is one of those HBO shows that has got this a stupid high. Isn't it the highest rated show of all time, or it's close anyway. Anyway, I watched it. It's been on my watch list forever. But shout out to Aiden in the Discord for nudging me to watch it, and it's great. It's terrific. It's like objectively a 10, it's like technically a 10, there's nothing wrong with the show in any way. It's like just like everything. It's like, yeah, you guys know cinema, you heard of this thing called cinema that we like. Yeah, it's just that, but it's just like perfect, so it's like so well acted and it's beautiful and haunting and all the rest. And I think it conveys its emotions so well. It's really just a somewhat, I guess subjective. Yeah, I think it's I'm not familiar with the event historically, but it feels to me like a somewhat objective look at that event and how catastrophic it was for different reasons and for different people, and really tries to cover a lot of ground in the way it conveys that, which I really like. It focuses on different characters to different degrees. We sort of have our core crew, but then we sort of go off and look at how it's affecting this random team doing this thing or this team that has to deal with this as a result. And all these different little things that you don't even think about would have to happen as a result of a nuclear catastrophe like this. So you think, oh shit, I guess someone does have to do that. And you sort of spend some time with them and it's like, holy shit. But yeah, it's a great show. I'd highly recommend it. It's not for me, like I watch TV shows personally for characters and high drama and like seasonal, I don't know, character progression and development and arcs. Like that's what I love out of TV. So it doesn't really deliver that. In that sense, it's more like a 5-hour film in that way. Viewing it as that, it's a terrific film. Sort of feels just like that. So couldn't recommend it enough, I suppose. As always, now we hand the show over to you with our question of the show. Last week we asked you, what is your favourite Adam Sandler movie? Luke says, Bedtime Stories is a good solid call. I forgot about that. Bugsy Gang.
Bedtime Stories is one of the worst ones.
I wrote it as a joke, and then I didn't expect this. But yeah, it happened. What is Bugsy Gang? What is that? Is that a reference from the movie? Bugsy?
I don't remember anything about bedtime stories. I don't know.
Neither do I. I remember I've seen it, but I remember there's that one scene where like play balls start falling from the sky and that's it. I don't know anything else about it.
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
I do remember that, yeah.
Cool.
Well, I don't remember it happening, but vaguely.
It's an image in your mind somewhere, yeah. But the fact that Luke can actually remember it, presumably that's a reference to the movie, so God bless Luke for being able to remember it. Aiden said it's got to be the Grown Up series. And do people like people? Is that genuine? Is it genuine question? Is that real? Do people like these movies?
I quite like the first one, but the second one, no, I quite like both of them. I think, but I think it definitely surprised me as an answer.
Okay.
I like Adam Sandler in those movies, but not like Kevin or like other people.
Well said. Bedtime Stories is the shit. All right. Andy said, Uncut Gems is not my favourite Adam Sandler movie. However, my favourite is definitely the worst one. But Jack and Jill happens to be my favourite film of his. I haven't rewatched it since I was 12. And yes, on paper, it's trash. I never knew who Al Pacino was when I saw this movie because I thought that was a character in the film. But now I know that Al Pacino was playing Al Pacino. Because of that realisation, Jack and Jill has to be my favourite Adam Sandler movie. And then Andy proceeded to write lyrics to a song that I won't read.
Yeah,
and then he says,
Cappuccino one.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. Is that?
Yeah, it's from the movie. Where
they have an Al Pacino song in the movie.
Yeah, he's like doing an ad.
Yeah.
Dunkachino, yeah.
Yeah, that one, yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize you'd both seen this movie.
It's one of my lowest rated movies.
Oh no!
I think it's one of 3 movies I've given a 1 to.
God, I've seen it I think, but the only thing I remember is the Don Casino thing. I don't remember anything else about it really. Jack and Jill, he's like both of them, right?
I guess. I'm not gonna lie, that Al Pacino song sort of sounds objectively good.
It is definitely like one that gets stuck in your head because like there have been times in my life when I just thought about Al Pacino and like Al Pacino.
But then Andy says, if Zach read the entire song from start to finish, which I definitely didn't, you all deserve a $50 donation to the channel from me.
Oh, dude, read it.
But yeah, I feel like I have to place morals exist. Okay, you know. Love Andrew. That's so good. Thank you, Andy. Can I call Andy Andrew from now on? He called himself Andrew.
Oh, did he?
He said love Andrew.
You gotta ask him first. You gotta get the pass.
I feel like if you refer to yourself as it, that's an invitation, you know. But who knows? Who knows? All right, Jana, what's your favorite Adam Sandler movie?
It's got to be Happy Gilmore. It's the only real option, you know. Just absolute classic. Yeah, I think it's culturally significant. Probably the most culturally impactful film he's made. Yeah. There's so many good ones, especially like the late 90s ones, early 2000s. But like, that's the banger that gets it.
Now, Jane, I don't want to trigger you. Happy Gilmore is on my Netflix list. I've never seen it, but I was considering watching it the other night, and this was my thought. My thought was, oh, this is just going to be Adam Sandler, like doing dumb shit with a golf ball and like accidentally hitting people in the face with a golf club and winning a golf tournament. Like, is that? How wrong am I? Because I need to be convinced.
I mean, not entirely. Like, I don't like he definitely does dumb shit, but like he actually like is good at the game.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah.
There's like a heartfelt story there somewhere.
There is, yeah. It's quite a good story in terms of Adam Sandler. Yeah.
Oh, okay,
I mean, actually,
right.
that's a lie. It's average, like story wise, but like, it's certainly heartfelt. You know,
yeah. Okay. You'll do anything to get me to watch it. I guess you'll lie. Fitzy, what about you?
Well, I don't know if I've actually seen Happy Gilmore. Just to not answer the question, but I'd say I have more of like a connection to Punch Drunk Love from like, you know, an emotional level, I guess. Like that film is more like more like traditional drama, I guess, just in terms of like, you know, it's more like vulnerable, I guess. And it's more like about something that's like, you know, that has emotional stakes, I guess. But like, I'd say this and Punch Drunk Love are probably even then. But like, this is obviously more like, it's more of a thrill ride, I guess. But I'd still.
By this, you mean Uncut Gems?
Yes, it's more of a thrill ride then.
Just clarify.
Although Punch Drunk Love is, you know, has thrills, I guess. But I'd say I could still watch Punch Drunk Love and really enjoy it. So they're like 50-50.
Yeah. I mean, my favourite's Uncut Gems, but in the spirit of the question, I guess my answer is Punch Drunk Love also. But I also didn't love that movie, you know, so it's like, I liked it. But I feel like Uncut Gems is the only Adam Sandler movie I really, like, holy shit, like, I think this is great, you know, so I don't know. I feel like I need to expand my Adam Sandler horizons beyond Click, which I did recently. Maybe I should have chosen another one. That movie's not bad. That movie's not bad either,
no,
you know, in my opinion.
It's a good one, yeah.
Yeah. I was not expecting it to go all, like, super futuristic dark sci-fi on me, you know. All right. Thank you, everyone, for writing in. As always, we'd love you to submit your questions, thoughts, reviews for next week's film in the YouTube comment section. Send us a DM on Instagram or join the lovely Discord community. This week, we'll be asking you, who is the best Spider-Man villain?
Are we talking about like just like in general, like movies?
I'll just throw it out there. Let the people figure it out. You know how they want to answer it. I don't know. What would that change your answer?
No, but I was just thinking like if someone did just like write in like, you know, I don't know, the Electro, but like the comics version of Electro.
Yeah. Electro as he appears in the Spectacular Spider-Man issue 67. Yeah, it's like
exactly. Yeah. Real nuance in that one.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, that's it for this week's episode. But Fitzy, what are we doing next week? Surprise, surprise.
Spider-Man 2. We'll have another controversial discussion.
The last time it actually ended up being pretty level and like kind of unanimous in our kind of opinions. I mean,
yeah,
it's going
But
to
I
be
feel like
controversial, but for the audience, not for us.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what I was going to say.
Well, it'll be or we might have disagreements.
Yeah, or maybe this time we'll think differently.
Us.
Yeah.
It's going to be controversial, guaranteed in some way.
Exactly.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'm scared, to be honest. I hope I like this movie, but I don't know. All right, guys, thank you for joining me as always. Thank you to everyone else for watching, listening. You can't, I mean, maybe you watch, but that'd be weird. And have a great rest of your week, and goodbye.